The stench of gunpowder and blood hit me first sharp and cold, cutting through the ringing in my ears like a bad memory you can't scrub out. My kitchen clock, somehow still ticking through all that chaos, flashed 2:37 a.m., just a little digital marker of the hell I'd survived. I pressed the phone to my ear, voice steady, or at least I told myself it was, even though my insides felt like a shaken soda bottle. 911, dispatch. What's your emergency? The operator's calm tone felt like it belonged in a different world, not the one where my living room had just turned into a war zone. This is Special Agent Tom Carver, FBI. I said each word a small act of will to keep the tremor out of my voice. Active crime scene at my residence. Multiple hostile casualties. Silence crackled on the line. Agent Carver, clarify casualties. My eyes flicked down to the body in the middle of my living room, blood already pooling on the hardwood. 3 deceased hostile actors, 123 Elmwood Lane. Every syllable tasted like ash in my mouth. I need tactical response, not just patrol. And the coroner. Contact Sace Reynolds at the Bureau. Tell him it's code Zulu. I lowered the phone, the operator's questions already fading into the background hum of adrenaline and shock, my breath echoing in the violated quiet of the house. What did they want? That question pounded at my skull louder than the sirens that would come. Let me back up a second. It started at 2:03 a.m. Just a faint scrape downstairs, like a boot dragging across the floor, barely there, but it set every instinct screaming. 13 years in the Bureau teaches you to sleep with one eye open. I snapped awake the ceiling fan above me, just a whisper, but the whole house felt wrong, like someone had turned the air up a notch. I held my breath, listening past the wind in the trees, the tick of the hallway clock. There it was, a muffled thud, then movement way too deliberate to be some random noise. My wife Claire was in Colorado visiting her brother, thank God, so it was just me. I slipped out of bed, grabbed my Glock 19 from the safe, checked the chamber, took the safety off. I didn't bother with the lights. I needed the dark. My house became my battlefield, every corner, memorized, every creak and shadow cataloged in my mind. I eased open the bedroom door and peered into the foyer, moonlight slicing through the windows, making everything feel ghostly. That's when I saw them. 3 figures in tactical gear moving like a trained unit, white letters on their vests. Security. Yeah, right. One was broad-shouldered and radiated Control Alpha, I figured. The second, smaller and twitchy, I tagged as Junior. The last one was at my security panel, hands busy with a device. Suppressed submachine guns. These guys were pros, not random burglars. This was a mission, and I was the target. If I called the local PD, I risked tipping them off. Guys like this probably had a scanner running. My job, like always, was to neutralize the threat first, deal with the fallout later. I crept back toward my bedroom, heart hammering, but my mind going cold and focused. My encrypted Bureau laptop was locked up in the closet too far away now. My cell was right there, but a call would get me killed before help could arrive. I found a shadowed alcove on the upstairs landing. Glock pointed at the top of the stairs. I heard footsteps, one set light, a little sloppy. Junior. He came up, weapon loose in his hands. As his head crested the steps, I fired twice, 2 soft thumps. He gasped, dropped his gun, spinning away. 1 down. Alpha roared. Contact tech scrambled back, but Alpha didn't hesitate. His MP7 barked and plaster exploded next to my face, stinging my cheek. I fired back to slow him, then vaulted the banister, landing rough on the stairs, pain flaring in my ankle. Behind him now, I shouted, "Drop it!" Federal Agent Alpha spun eyes like ice. He raised his gun. I fired 3 times, center mass. He hit the wall and slid down, blood streaking behind him. 2 down. The house went weirdly quiet except for Tech scrabbling around downstairs. I limped after him, ignoring the pain. Found him at the patio door, panic wide on his face. "Hands up," I yelled. He spun a metal cylinder in his grip thumb on a switch. "Damn you," he spat and lunged not at me but toward the living room. His eyes said, suicide, maybe incendiary, maybe worse. I fired twice. He dropped the device rolling under the couch. 3 down. The living room looked like a war zone. Bullet holes in the walls, shattered furniture. Claire's favorite vase smashed to hell. I swept the house, heart pounding, every shadow a potential threat. Clear. I leaned against the kitchen doorframe, ankle-throbbing Glock hanging heavy in my hand, then finally dialed 911. Sirens finally screamed in the distance. Blue and red lights tore through my broken windows, painting everything wild. 2 local cops met me at the door, faces pale, hands shaking when I showed my badge. Special Agent Tom Carver, 3 deceased hostiles inside, scenes secure but contaminated. My team's en route. A parade of unmarked SUVs rolled an FBI hostage rescue team, led by my old mentor, SAC John Reynolds, sharp-eyed as ever. He didn't miss the tremor in my hand or the blood on my cheek. Code: Zulu Tom. Hell of a morning. You all right? Physically. Mostly, I said. Ankle's a mess. Mentally ask me later. I walked him through the fight. Junior's nervousness, Alpha's skill, Tech's weird device. Forensics started tearing the place apart, marking evidence, bagging bodies. Dawn started bruising the sky. Reynolds pointed out their gear. Top-tier stuff, ceramic plates, encrypted comms, not something you buy off the street. The device Tech had not a bomb, but something worse, a high-frequency data interceptor military grade designed to rip info out of networks. My gut went cold. They wanted my bureau laptop, my home network, something in my files. Reynolds frowned. Or something you don't even know you have. My house, my sanctuary, was now a federal crime scene. The 3 dead men, ghosts. No prints, no matches, their gear, untraceable. State-level Reynolds muttered, or private, like Victor Kane's outfit. That name hit like a punch. Kane was bureau legend, a rogue DoD consultant, tied to ops nobody would admit to. Reynolds dropped the bomb. Quantico got a low-confidence hit on Alpha, connected to a shell company tied to Kane. If Kane sent these guys, this was bigger than a personal vendetta. It was chess, not checkers, and I was a piece in someone else's game. They picked the wrong house, I growled. Reynolds nodded. We need to know why Kane wants you and what data he was after. I was supposed to be on leave, but there's no such thing after a night like that. I joined the task force in Chicago, running point from what was left of my living room. The device they brought pre-programmed for something specific, but too damaged to tell us what. None of my stuff was breached, but their precision was chilling. What could be worth all this? Reynolds kept digging into Kane, the shadow broker of chaos disappearances, data breaches, always just a rumor until now. Weeks passed. Then a break someone in Kane's network tipped us to a data hub in Baltimore disguised as a logistics firm. Forensics finally cracked the data interceptor Project Eclipse, a buried DARPA project I'd once reviewed as a junior analyst. My name was in its logs. That's what they were after. Some secret so old I'd forgotten it. Reynolds' face darkened. Eclipse was buried for a reason. If Kane wants it, he's planning something big. The raid on the Baltimore hub was pure adrenaline drones, power-cut HRT going in like ghosts. The guards folded fast. In the server room, someone radioed Nexus secure. No sign of Kane. But the Eclipse data's here. My heart started hammering again. Then on a monitor, Victor Kane himself, late 60s sharp suit, cool as ice, standing there like he owned the place. "Took you long enough, Carver," he said, voice rich with mockery. "Eclipse was wasted on your bureau." I stepped forward, adrenaline boiling over. "You sent 3 men to kill me for this. You're finished." He smirked, hand hovering over a console. "Empires fall. Others rise," I shouted to the team. "He's wiping the data now." Flashbangs went off. Kane hit the floor, cuffed and bleeding. That raid exposed his whole network, market manipulation, political sabotage, a spiderweb of secrets and leverage. All powered by Eclipse, a program designed to predict and control global events. My link to Eclipse made me a target, a loose end. Raids followed across the globe and Kane's empire crumbled. I came home to Elmwood Lane House, repaired, but something inside me a little more cracked than before. Claire came back, her presence the only real shield I had against the dark. I was awarded commendations, offered a new position leading a task force against threats like Kane. One crisp autumn morning, mug in hand, I watched the neighborhood kids bike past my driveway. The Glock stayed locked in the safe, but you better believe I was ready no matter who came knocking next. That's the thing about shadows. They never really go away. They just wait for the next chance. I defend this dawn every day, every breath. And I guess that's the price you pay for surviving the night. So tell me, do you think justice is ever really served, or do we just keep buying ourselves another sunrise, hoping the next knock on the door isn't for us? Drop your thoughts below. Right or wrong, it's never as simple as it seems.